Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Tierney. Welcome to the Tier's Take. I upload weekly reality recaps, so if you love the Housewives and all of their antics, this channel is for you. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and that will actually help the channel and help other Bravo lovers like yourself see my content. So don't be scared, go ahead and do it. I'm excited to dive in with you. This is for the episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 2. Let's get into it. All right, so we open up still at Shamea's party, and we left off with Shamea asking Drew if she is dating Dennis. And Shamea says, I've been hearing that you guys were booed up at the club wearing matching outfits. Everyone's like, oh no, not the matching outfits. Then we see a confessional with Cynthia listing her exes, and she's basically saying, no one better be up at the club with them in matching outfits. And it's interesting the order that she said. I thought she was going to call out her most recent husband, Mike Hill, first, but he was last. First, she said nobody better be with Peter Thomas. Nobody damn sure better be with Leon, her baby daddy. And nobody better be with Mike. I was like, that's an interesting order that you've had there. I think that might have been telling us something, but I'm just going to leave that there. So basically, Porsha confronts Drew, and Drew was like, well, I already talked to Porsha about it. I already talked to her. And Porsha was like, no, you didn't. She said, basically, Porsha reached out to Drew because Drew looked stressed out in a photo. And in that conversation, Drew never said anything to Porsha. Drew claims that she tried to reach out to Porsha many times. Porsha denies it. And basically was kind of giving her spiel of like, there's nothing crazy going on, but Dennis has been my angel on earth. I was like, those are strong words. And all the other women were kind of like, what? So she's like, oh, he's been an angel on earth, and he's like my brother, and we just really bonded through music. It's been my therapy. And Shamea asked the question we all were wanting to know, why Dennis when you're in Atlanta? And she's like, I've worked with some of the best. They just haven't been able to get me anywhere. And Dennis came and pitched me the right thing. And, he's just been so great. So she goes on to say, Dennis loves you, Porsha, and I wouldn't do anything. I would never be going around with your baby daddy. I would never do that to you. I don't know. I was just like, man, Porsha lies, Drew lies. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. So we'll see. I mean, it's a funny storyline. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. So then Porsha says, I rooted for you. I gave you opportunities, and you're a low down, dirty individual. It's like, God damn. And so after she calls her those names, Drew is still confused. She was like, girl, why are you so mad? Like, Drew's keeping her cool. She's keeping her composure. And she's just like, girl, what? And Porsha was like, what I'm really mad at is that, can I break the fourth wall? Can I break the fourth wall? Producer says yes. And she's like, we're on this show, and you want to, she's basically mad that Drew wanted to film with Dennis, and Drew denies it. And she said, well, I have the text that you sent Dennis. So it's like, again, they both lie so much. It's kind of like, all right. So anyway, she said, so she was really mad about Drew utilizing that platform to bring on Porsha's ex. And then she was like, and then the second thing I'm mad at is that, is that you set up a Go Naked photo shoot. And that's Porsha's hair company. And Drew is an influencer for it. And so she was like, girl, this ain't your business. Like, why are you up here coordinating promo shoots and trying to get that filmed and just doing all these like behind backdoor things? It's my company. It's my baby daddy. So why are you using these things to film on TV, right? And so, I gotta say, I see where Porsha's coming from. I am girl code. Like, if you break up with somebody, we break up with someone. So I expect that same in return. However, Porsha's track record, you're not really sure where her value system lies based on her track record and the things that she has done to people and the things that she has done. So it's kind of like, you're expecting all this loyalty and consideration, but like looking at your actions, you don't always do that. So I don't know. It's a funny storyline. Like I said, I'm entertained by Drew. Couldn't deal with her in real life, but on the show, go have at it. Have at it. It was funny though, because one line that stuck out to me was when she said to Drew, I gave you an opportunity and you went around and you stabbed me in the back. And I just had a flash of Candy. I was like, Isn't that interesting? Because I remember you were divorced, you were trying to build yourself back up financially, and you wanted to be a singer, and Candy casted you in one of her plays and helped to give you a platform. You were already on the show, so it's not like Candy discovered you, but Candy helped get your name out there more and helped you to do more than what you were currently doing. And you turned around and said those nasty accusations about her. So what Drew is doing to you and what you did to Candy compared to what you did to Candy, it's light work, honey. You chill out. But as soon as she said that, I was like, whew, karma girl, you don't miss. Karma does not miss. Karma doesn't play. And karma might be delayed, but it will always find you. And that was my takeaway of this episode. So basically, it doesn't really get resolved. Shamea was like, it's time for cake. Drew tries to talk to her some more, and Porsha's like, girl, save it. I have nothing else to say to you. So then they have a phone party. They jump in the pool, and it seems, and it was really fun. So in the next scene, we see a bit more of Angela Oakley's home life. She has 4 kids. We know she's married to Charles Oakley. She is self-made. She has a financial consulting firm, self-made millionaire. She is in the process of flipping 5 different properties. So she is a bossed up lady. I love to see it. It seems that she likes to, I don't know, get her feelings hurt or dismissed. Like, I don't know. Her man, seems like he checks a lot of boxes, but like isn't nice. I don't know. That's a box I would need. But if she likes it, go ahead, girl. So it was good just seeing more of her story. We saw one of her beautiful daughters. So, I'm here for it. Something about her gives me Marlo. Let me know below if you feel the same way. I'm just like, it's a little bit of her voice. It's not as deep as Marlo's, but it's her tone and her face, and I don't know. But she reminds me of like Marlo with a job. So then we see a sit down of Porsha and Kenya. They both looked gorgeous, and everyone online was like, we want more of this. This is what we missed out of. And I agree. It was so good to see them together. I like seeing them cool, but I was confused because last time we saw them on camera, they fell out on the Bolo season, right? And I was hoping that this season, when Porsha came back, Kenya was going to be holding her accountable for all the things that she did, taking Simon and, having that situation blow up in her face. I don't know. I wanted to see her hold her accountable, but it looks like they made up off camera and now they're cool. I don't know. Kenya always has a soft spot for Porsha and always kind of caves in for Porsha. I noticed, even though they go at it, Kenya more often will bend to Porsha than Porsha for Kenya. Because I feel like Porsha always gives her ass to kiss, and Kenya, she'll fight it for a while, but then she always comes back. But basically, I feel like I feel like they were cool, and then Porsha just started pulling away from Kenya, and all of a sudden, didn't want to be associated with her. And Kenya's like, wait, what happened? So we shall see how this goes, or maybe we won't, because we know Kenya's going to leave halfway through the season. But it was good to see them sit down. They looked gorgeous. Place looked cute. And they had small talk about Dennis and Drew. Nothing new really came out of it. Porsha just keeps talking about, like, I don't want them using my platform, to potentially say bad things about me and all that. And another thing that they talk about was Simon, and basically how he just goes OD online and he's just having all these crazy posts all the time. And Porsha just claims that she was just in the dark of all the things that he does. And, I'm just so tired of her like playing dumb. She's not as dumb as she acts. And she's just like, oh, I just didn't know. And one day we got surrounded by the cops and I just didn't, I don't know. I'm like, girl, all right. So Kenya, there might have been more to that conversation, but Kenya just listened and smiled and nodded. And then Porsha brings up that she was the fifth wife. It was just a mess. I was like, what part of this Simon situation was appealing? Oh, you thought he was rich. There we go. So, then that lunch wraps up. There wasn't a whole bunch with that. I just wanted to call it out because I loved it. I love seeing them together, even though it would have been nice to see Kenya hold her accountable. But whatever, I guess we have Kelly for that. We have 2 more quick scenes. We see Kelly renovating her new restaurant location. Basically, she had to close down her other location through the divorce. And so she's just working really hard to get this open. Her project manager is like, girl, we in danger, girl. He's like, we're not going to be able to open on time. And she's still pressing ahead. And so I don't know what the rush is, but it looks like they got a whole lot of work to do. So that's probably just going to be her storyline. And maybe we'll get to a grand opening before the season ends. We shall see. Then we check in with Britt Edie and her husband. Her husband's very interesting. So her husband, doesn't he remind you of Nico from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta? He reminds me of him. I was like, where have I seen him before? And I was like, oh, I just randomly like recalled who it was. And it was, yeah, and that's not a compliment. But anyway, so there was a lot, but wasn't a lot. So Britt takes us through the relationship, and they got married during the pandemic. And then they basically, in the scene, talk about buying a new house and planning for a kid and just figuring it all out. And she's trying to talk to him like, hey, would you want to move before we have the baby? Or do you want the baby here? Like, what are your thoughts? And he is so disengaged. He is just like, I mean, I don't know. Why do you have to plan everything? I don't know. And she's just like, I don't know. He looks like he's tired of her. He looks like, girl, if you don't shut up and get out my face, I don't care. And yeah, that's kind of a red flag, honey. So we're going to all be keeping an eye on, is his name Michael? On Michael. But his first like whole scene at home with her, that ain't it. And so he was very like disengaged, kind of just whatever. And then at the end of that scene, Britt's walking away and she was like, I love you. And he was like, I know. And love's important. What? What? So awkward. We'll see. Because there's a difference between being like nervous on camera, but he just seemed mean. I don't know. I am not feeling Charles or this new guy, Michael. I'm just like, okay, girl, that's who you chose. More power to you. It seems like Britt is just into being a wife and not necessarily his wife. Like she said, we got married on Zoom because it was a pandemic, and that's not what I wish to do, but I just wanted to be a wife, and being a wife was more important. And I was like, a wife or his wife? So we're going to keep an eye on that and just unpack that, because some people are so thirsty for a ring that they don't even care about compatibility, legalities, Porsha. They don't care about the rest of someone's life as long as they have a ring on their finger and can say, I got a husband. So I'm like, okay. Then we have a really good scene with Shamea, and she goes to visit her surrogate. And they basically just talk about like the health challenges that her surrogate had, and her surrogate basically found out that she had an aggressive form of breast cancer as she was pregnant with Shamea's baby. And so they had to deliver the baby preterm, and Shadina, the surrogate, had to get a double mastectomy. And I just can't imagine like that process, that surrogate pregnancy is stressful. And then I'm sure surrogacy is stressful because like, I don't even like people babysitting my kid. So I can only imagine someone like carrying my child. And, you know, I would constantly just be wondering like, who are they around? What kind of energy, what kind of vibes are around them? What are they eating? What are they drinking? Are they exercising? Are they reading to the baby? Like, I would be crazy. So like, I get that that was a choice that Shamea had to do, but oh my God, that's so stressful. And then you add on all of the challenges that Shadina had. And then the baby now has like health issues or was born with health issues. And Shadina's carrying the guilt of like, was it me? Was it my sickness that, you know, that may have hurt the baby? So all of it all around is just so sad on both sides. So I just hope, you know, the baby gets the help that she needs. And I hope Shadina continues to recover and, you know, because Shadina has a family of her own, and you know, it's a sad situation. But I'm glad that they had that conversation. It added some heart to the episode. It created some awareness and just gave us a peek into a process that not a lot of us know about. So I really appreciated that scene. It was so sad, but I appreciated it. So then we have a scene with Britt and Kelly, and they're just kind of talking about, you know, what's going on with their lives. So that's where we see Britt talk about that she's planning a ceremony because she never had a big ceremony for her wedding since they got married on Zoom. And then Britt also talks about how Kenya brought up, you know, her ring and asked her, you know, if it was like her second marriage. And girl, why are you still on this? Like, you are super, like, the way that you're this sensitive, maybe you shouldn't be on reality TV, because the way Kenya asked you, oh, is that from your second marriage? Or just like the way she really said it really fast. And then you guys seemed cool right afterwards and you're still holding on to that. You're not going to be fun to watch because you are either really sensitive or you're really insecure about your marriage. I can see either one because we saw how your husband currently treats you, or at least treated you in that one scene. So I don't know. I think it's giving insecure, because if someone, like, for example, when I get my rings cleaned, I just wear like a fake ring, and it's not, I don't have a set, or maybe I used to, maybe I don't know. But right now the little like fake ring that I wear, it looks like an engagement ring. And someone asked me one day, I was at a work function, and someone said, oh, are you engaged? And I said, no, girl, this is fake. My rings are getting cleaned. And that was it. It was not, why would you ask me that? No, I'm married. I mean, it wasn't, I'm just so confused. Like, someone asked a question, you answer it, and that's it. Like, I was just joking with her. I was like, yeah, girl, like, I got all these men out here I got to let them know I'm taken, you know, just like being silly. Like, why would I be offended of someone asking about something that I'm wearing? Are you engaged? No, I'm married. The end. So Britt checks in with Kelly and basically was like, oh, like, tell me more about your relationship. And I was like, I thought you guys were such good friends. So I don't know. I wish they brought it up in a different way. Like, were you really asking, or were you just saying, oh, we need to like check this box, or we just need to check this box while we're filming this scene? I don't know. I found it odd. So I'm like, I thought you guys were best friends. I'm like, And then now you're like, oh yeah, by the way, girl, why'd you get divorced? So I found that kind of strange. But anyway, Kelly basically says her man took $500,000 out of her company. She said that there was physical abuse in the marriage to put up a front for a very long time, and eventually she just had to get her and her kids out of that situation. So a lot of the weight of taking care of her girls falls on her shoulders. She says he barely pays any child support. He only does it when he's mandated by the courts. And so she is just kind of really hustling and working as hard as she can to give her kids a great life, which is commendable. Like I said, she has a lot of story there. And so I am hoping that she calms it down, which she kind of did in this episode. And I have a feeling she'll like even out even more because there are different things that she can talk about and different there's a lot of story there for her. So I'm like, okay. Then we have a quick scene of Shamea, Angela, and Drew working out. Who else thought about Drop It with Drew? I was cracking up. And when I saw someone mention it online, I was like, yes, I was thinking the same thing. But anyway, they're working out. Basically, the gist of this part was that Angela called out Shamea and was like, so why were you, grilling Drew about Porsha's baby daddy? Like, why were you speaking for her? It seemed like, it was giving Porsha's assistant. And, Shamea's like, no, I wasn't. I wanted to know for me. And she's trying to defend herself. So Drew basically said, yeah, if you look up Lapdog, you're going to see Shamea's face. So, it's going to be interesting for Shamea to... It's going to be interesting for Shamea to shake that perception, because I think a lot of us have that perception, like, of her going hard for Porsha and Porsha doing the bare minimum to keep her as a friend. I see Shamea just being a way better friend to Porsha than Porsha is to Shamea. And until I see something different, I'm going to keep singing that song, because I said in my last video, we've seen over the years the things that Porsha has done. So the things that Porsha has done that show that she's not a great friend. So we'll see. I want Shamea, and it's going to be hard because we've known her as Porsha's friend for like a long time, for like 10 years. I want Shamea to craft her own identity. And, it looks like she has the ability to do that. She has a lot of things going on. She's bringing some good story to the show. And so, after this season, hopefully she's getting less Porsha questions and more things about her life and the things that we learn about her. So that is my wish for her. And it's also my wish for her to build some healthy boundaries with Porsha, because it seems that Porsha treats Shamea any old way, and Shamea constantly like eats shit for her, and I'm confused. So I'm interested to see more of that dynamic and figure out what's going on with Shamea that allows her to take that abuse from Porsha. Abuse could be a strong word, but it could be an accurate word. So, we'll see. But I'm wondering, like Shamea seems so confident and sure of herself, but then you take this type of behavior for such a long period of time. And so it makes you say, So, maybe we'll dive into it. That's another, story to learn about. So there's a lot of like opportunities and a lot of different avenues that this season and future seasons can go down. So I am hopeful for a good season and kind of a new era of this show. So we shall see. So let's wrap this up. So then in our last scene, we see Porsha meeting up with Dennis because they wanted to have a little like play date with Pilar. She's so freaking cute. So anyway, they go to a little like family fun place, and Porsha basically brings up the situation with Drew, and Dennis is like, yeah, we're working together. We're cool. Like, it is what it is. And Porsha's like, oh, that's not what she said. She was saying you guys were more. She said you were Jesus. Then it flashes back to Drew saying he was her angel on earth, and, they just bonded together over music. And Dennis says something similar, like, yo, like, she's going through what she's going through with Ralph. I have to watch you and having 16 weddings. We both were going through pain, and we bonded through pain, and she basically sang through her pain. And so we connected on that. And basically he said, I'm cool with Ralph, and I'm not trying to sleep with Drew or do anything crazy like that. I literally just want to work with her. And then Porsha brings up the filming aspect, basically saying how she's not happy with it. And Dennis pushes back, and he's like, I don't see any problem with promoting the music and using the show as a vehicle to promote, because that's what everyone does, right? So Porsha doesn't like that. She doesn't take kindly to people, standing up for themselves. And so basically she's like, I'm just so confused why I can't get any loyalty. I said, where do we begin? Like, I could probably tell you why. You're not loyal your damn self. So how are you going to attract loyal people? It's very easy. It's very simple. We don't need to spend too much time on it. Porsha. Because, I think Porsha is a vibe. She's a fun girl. Like, she's a girl that you want to go to happy hour with and kick it, go to a party, whatever. But she is not someone who I'm not telling you my business. I'm not bringing you in my house. I damn sure ain't bringing you around my man. The things that you have shown are not loyal. I don't think she gets that. I don't know. So anyway, Porsha goes to the bathroom. She's crying, and she basically says, if Dennis and I have a problem, I don't want him coming on here spilling our tea and da-da-da. Like, that's basically what she said. But she's crying, and the producer was like, oh, like, is there, do you want to tell him this? And she's like, I don't want him to see my tears. He's not worth it. Da, da, da. I'm like, all right, girl. And then 20 minutes later, they're driving home, and they're in the car, and their mics are hot. And Porsha was like low-key threatening him, like just having all these veiled threats of like, yeah, well, if you move forward with filming her, it's going to be a problem. And, if that's what you want to do, I mean, things might look a little different. Or she said something about like their daughter, like, I can't believe you would have your daughter see that. Like, girl, what? Did you care about your daughter seeing you effing a stripper, like doing whatever you did with LaToya and Tanya? And I mean, but your ex can't film a music session? Let's be all the way for real, please. And like I said, I understand, like, on basic like girl code, I understand where Porsha's coming from, but based on how you move, Porsha, and based on what they're trying to do, I think she's just putting more into it because of like her own ego. Like, I don't think it's kind of like how, I don't know. I can see both sides. I think she definitely has an ego in this, but then I also see that Drew is just on some goofy shit, right? Like, I see both. But I feel like Dennis, not that he's a good guy. I feel like Porsha always makes him look like a good guy, though. Like, because when you see Porsha's behavior and then the way Dennis acts, it's like, I'm almost team Dennis, even though he cheated on her. I think he legitimately just wanted to like promote the album, and there might have been a tiny bit of get back that he wanted to do, but I think his intentions were probably more good than not. I don't see him as doing a whole lot of grimy, petty tit for tat. I think he knows who he is co-parenting with, and I think he knows, Porsha's temperament and things that she would stoop to, and I think he's just trying to stay in her good graces. So I don't think he would intentionally go on camera and like say anything crazy or do anything crazy. I don't know. So we'll see if they ever move forward with this music session or the go naked hair shoot. Porsha probably fired Drew. Damn, she probably got free bundles and everything. Damn, Drew, you fucked up. Damn, Drew, you messed up. But anyways, that's all I got today. Overall, it was a good episode. So, I mean, Atlanta's 2 for 2. Like I said, I was a little nervous heading into the season, but I still like it. I thought it was a good episode. Again, we have some, we've gotten some good stories. We have some good like tee ups for some good stories. I'm excited to kind of keep my eye on Britt and her man, because that's a lot there. So, we'll see the saga of Dennis and Drew. So I think there's a good amount going on. So, fingers crossed for the rest of the season. And we'll see where it goes. Thank you so much for rocking with me. I appreciate it. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.